Kim Wright of the Seattle Foundation and Jason Hutchison Quillian of Google. They work together on the Next Generation program at the Seattle Foundation and are here today to share their thoughts on the future of philanthropy. Let's welcome them.
Wow, well, hello. My name is Kim Wright, and I am the Director of Philanthropic Services at the Seattle Foundation. And for nearly 2 decades, I've had the great pleasure of working with millennial generation by introducing over 1,000 young people to community needs and philanthropy. At the Seattle Foundation, I work with people of all ages, by helping them step into philanthropy, evaluate their giving, and evolve as philanthropists so their giving is both powerful and rewarding. I've had the great pleasure of working with some inspiring individuals, one of which is sitting next to me today. Jason Hutchison Quillian is a Google engineer, and at the age of 28, he chooses to live on half of his salary, donating the rest to the community. The Seattle Foundation first met Jason 3 years ago when we were organizing a dinner for donors to talk about their fears and roadblocks of giving. And while most individuals discussed the roadblocks, Jason exclaimed the great joy and meaning that he feels in his life due to giving a large percentage of his income to the community. We were very inspired by Jason, and I know you will be too today. We really want to make this a conversation. So please join us afterwards and use the hashtag philanthropy tips to share your tips, questions, and ideas. And I'll hope you'll go to the Seattle Foundation website afterwards to download more of our tips to help people reach their true giving capacity. So Jason, as we prepared for our conversation today on the future of philanthropy, 3 themes rose to the top for us, and they were purpose, capacity, and innovation. Americans are incredibly generous, but we know that individuals still give only 2% of their annual income. We've talked a lot about how we can help inspire people to give more. Why is this important to you? Why is purpose important to you?
So I think purpose is a linking point between the philanthropy of people of my generation, millennials, and prior generations. Philanthropy is always about purpose. And I think one of the cool things is that many of us younger folks are now able to start thinking about purpose towards the beginning of our careers as opposed to just after retirement. And I think this really, the credit is due to those crazy idealists who came before us for making it seem possible. In terms of my giving, I really hope that it empowers others to make positive change. And this is why locally I work with Social Justice Fund Northwest as part of their giving projects to broaden the set of people both in grant making and in the social change process itself. But at a personal understanding of purpose, I recognize that positive relationships with people around me are the foundation on which larger scale change is built. It's hard for me to take myself seriously as a philanthropist if I'm not also striving to be a good friend. And to me, love is fundamental to both.
I love that. Love is fundamental to both. I too personally believe that the philanthropy is at its best when it's looking at the art and the science of giving. And while data is incredibly valuable, so too is understanding the emotion that drives our giving. It helps inspire a greater connection to our own purpose so that we can better inspire change. Justin, early on you agreed to share your story, very publicly even with a wider audience than this, by creating a donor profile on bouldergiving.org. This relates to both of our goals of helping people give to their true capacity. So why is this important to you?
So I get excited imagining a world where the majority of people are replacing significant chunks of spending with giving. I think it's promising because I actually think this would increase happiness, and certainly from a cultural, environmental, and even economic perspective, I think this would be a really good thing. So where I can, I try to live in a way that if the majority of people were to make the same choices, it would be a good thing for all of us. Of course, I don't always reach that goal, but I do strive to let it guide me. So in the case of my giving, it means making time each year to decide what I'm going to do in the upcoming year. It can be a little scary to make that decision about how much to give, so I've tried to use data to inform my decisions. One of the things I look at is what's the median income in King County. And I also look at the pay gaps, like the racial and gender pay gaps and wealth divide. So personally, I really wish I knew what my true giving capacity were. I think I still have a lot of room for growth. I think the value is in the recognition that there is more to give. It means not only do I have enough, but it also means I can make a difference for others. So Kim, in addition to working at the Seattle Foundation, you also give significantly. How do you think about your capacity?
I think first about the relationship that I have with the community and to the organizations that I support. I'm very attached to the issues that I care about, which are education and family planning and reproductive health care. So I want to give more. I want to have a greater impact. So I look at my giving every year, and I strive to use every wealth event in my life, whether that is a $50 check from my mom or an inheritance that I received after my father passed away. And I look at how I can channel that giving to increase the relationships I have and the work that the nonprofits that I have a great relationship with do and support. So my work also drives me to the evaluation side of giving. And I think it's my responsibility to access information and, once again, to build relationships of trust with nonprofits. I look at my gifts as ways to empower the talented staff and individuals on the front lines. So I always make my grants general operating support. I didn't build in that pause, I swear. Again, on a personal level, in 2013, I added my first zero, and it was in front of the decimal point. And I experienced a lot of anxiety about that, but I had been looking at ways to honor my father, and it was an unplanned gift. And I was amazed by how quickly my sense of anxiety turned into relief, and then joy, and then pride. In fact, I went out to the car and I called my mom, and I truly can still feel that joy today, over a year and a half later, sitting in this room. So Justin, you are very forward-thinking when it comes to innovation. Tell us how innovation can inspire change.
Sure. So innovation almost always evokes technology these days. And on the technical side of my life at Google, this means making the process of donating more delightful. However, innovation is not just technical. Fundamentally, it's about choosing to be in the loop of trying something new, observing the results, reflecting, and trying again. So taking this deeper understanding, it becomes clear that innovation happens with philanthropy itself. And I think one example of how to do this is inviting new people into positions of power and decision-making. I think it's so important to support solutions that are led by people affected by the underlying problems, because they will not only work harder, but I think they probably have a better understanding of those problems. So our donations can help accelerate that work. To me, this is a key to effective, innovative philanthropy, and I learned this partly through my work with Social Justice Fund. I think innovation also happens at the personal level. I mean, you adding that zero to your gift is an example of innovation. So like you, I'd also prefer to err on the side of generosity, but I think the trick is remembering that we have the choice.
That's great. I'm going to coin the term Jessinisms. Does that work? I love that, err on the side of generosity, and we do have the choice. So back to technological innovation. Can you tell us a little bit more about Google's daily giving app, One Today?
Sure. So One Today is an app that lets you easily give $1 each day to nonprofits and causes that inspire you. Not only does it suggest projects based on your interests, but it's also a community of people doing one good deed together each day. So in my last year as a user, it's been really fun to learn about a different organization every day. But I know that donating money is really just the beginning of doing good, so I hope that someday we can expand into other daily good deeds. If you're interested in checking it out, you can search for One Today by Google, and it's available for both iOS and Android.
That's great. Okay, now we have a quick round of rapid-fire questions. Ready? Okay.
Let's go. Let's do it.
What are your primary motivations for giving?
Living with integrity and without regret.
And who is your giving mentor?
The authors of the book, The Revolution Will Not Be Funded. I think this was critical in helping me find my place in philanthropy.
As we're discussing the future of philanthropy, what is the philanthropic trend to watch?
Social justice philanthropy, which is really bringing positive social change into philanthropy itself.
And who are your allies in giving?
It's been really critical for me to have people around me who are also trying to figure out where and how much to give. The first network where I had this was Resource Generation, and more recently, Social Justice Fund has dramatically expanded that community for me.
That's great. Any last words of advice to inspire change?
Well, I think the inspiring thing is being here with you all. Fundraising is fundamentally about making others believe that a better world is possible and helping them see their place within it.
Thank you, Jessen. Very inspirational. So we love action. So we want to ask all of you to take some time today. Just pause for a moment today and think of the way that you can innovate your philanthropy. What is your purpose for giving and what is your true capacity? And again, we hope that you'll join us by sharing some of those tips, those thoughts, those questions at #philanthropytips. And if you are interested in downloading our tips for reaching your true capacity, please go to the Seattle Foundation website /philanthropytips to download our tips sheet, and the Google app, One Today, will be there as well. We are so inspired by this room. We love the intersection of the people that make the work happen, acknowledging the philanthropists that support the incredible work of nonprofits through the great work of our fundraisers. So congratulations to all of you being honored today, and thank you so much for sharing some of your time with us today.